to thicken up, and we shall pour the sauce all over. All right.
Cooking Appa.
Hi, this is Cooking Appa. Today, Appa has some friends coming over, so I decided to cook pork trotter, yeah, in Thai, yeah, the whole, or sometimes they call it pork hock, yeah, pork hock. Very nice, very meaty. This is, I can't remember, was it from, I think this is probably coming from the rare legs, yeah. Rare legs usually a little bit more fattier and more tender. So, I have trimmed away the excessive, the other chunks so that it looks better when it is served. And usually, now the difference between cooking a pork hock and a normal pork leg that you have already cut into chunks, sorry, is that this one will take double the time. So if normal pork leg you need to cook about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, this, if you cook the whole piece, you will need double the time, at least 3 to 4 hours to make it really tender. So I'll be using a pressure cooker today to help and ease my work. But if you have the time and if you have the effort, you feel free to use a normal pot, but 4 hours. Then let's look at how we make the braised broth. It's not difficult at all. I have some minced garlic, shallot, coriander roots, the white portion of the spring onion, ginger, few pieces, and also galangal, few pieces. And here, I have some spices here. This is black cardamom, bay leaf, cinnamon stick. This is star anise, approximately 2 to 3 pieces here. It's already broken, so but I still use it. No mind, this is home cooking. Don't worry about it. And I have some Sichuan peppercorn. And last but not least, I have this. This is a 13 spice powder. I always call it the big brother of 5 spice powder. And I'll be using my Cooking Appa chicken stock powder as well, which is available from Shopee Malaysia and Singapore. Now I also will use the same braise to braise some tofu and egg towards the end, but we will just make the pork hock first. So we are going to make the braised sauce now. Yeah, the braised broth. Give it some oil. So once the oil is heated up, we can put in all the fresh herbs together with the dried herbs and saute it for a couple of minutes to really bring out the fragrance. Yeah. So these are the fresh herbs and these are the dried herbs. Let's saute this for a minute or two. Immediately I can smell the nice fragrance coming up. Really nice. We'll come back shortly. Now, cooking the whole pork hock looks and feels intimidating, but actually if you know how to do it and with the right equipment to help you, it's actually not difficult at all. So once you start seeing some of the garlic or shallot started to brown, this is the time where you can actually add in some Shaoxing wine. Oh, my Shaoxing wine is finished, so I'm going to use another bottle. But one small bowl of Shaoxing wine here. Next thing, we are going to put in some water. Now you do want to control the amount of the water here. You don't want it to be too much. If your braised broth is too diluted, then your pork hock will not taste as good as well. So you probably want to measure a bit, roughly how much is the water enough level to cover or submerge your pork hock inside your pressure cooker later, yeah, or any of your pot. I already just now measured, yeah. Now next thing, we're going to give it a few rounds of light soya sauce. Braised is all about soya sauce, yeah. So we are going to add in light soya sauce as well as dark soya sauce. And you need to be careful, take note on the dark soya sauce, not too much. Dark soya sauce is just really for the sake of the color. If you add too much of dark soya sauce from the beginning, it can actually make your whole broth become bitter. And of course, to enhance the flavor, I'll be adding some of my cooking apart chicken stock powder. So it's like using chicken stock to cook your pork leg. Yeah, imagine how tasty it's going to be. And we need to put in some rock sugar, at least about 1 to 2 tablespoons. This is about 1 tablespoon here. Let me add a little bit more. Approximately 2 tablespoons of rock sugar. And 1 tablespoon of the 13 spice powder. Of course, you can use 5 spice powder as well. We were still going to put in some salt. At least 1 teaspoon to start with. Most likely it's not enough. But we are just going to give it some basic fun flavor, yeah? Towards the end, we still can adjust to taste. So just bring this to a boil and our braised broth is ready to be used. After that, it will be very simple. Put it inside the pressure cooker and let it cook for you. Now today I'm going to add something extra to even further enhance the flavor, which is some fried onion. Optional, but recommended. So while waiting for the braised broth to be ready, let's perform a very important step, which is to prepare our pork hock, the pork leg, by blanching it. So the blanching process is extremely important. Prepare some cold water, put in a bit of ginger and spring onion, add in a bit of Chinese rice wine, next thing, put the pork trotter into the cold water after it is washed. This is important. You need to put it inside cold water, then only you bring up the heat. Then only the blanching process will be very efficient. So we are going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for a couple of minutes until you will start seeing all the scums releasing out from the bones especially. Never skip this step. This step is super important because for a lot of meat, just especially pork, there is some gaminess in it. So you need to go through this step to at least to remove 80% of the gaminess. You can probably tell from through the camera how fresh is the pork. It's pinkish color, yeah, reddish and pinkish. So we are making 2 things at the same time now. We are waiting for the broth, braised broth at the back, and we are blanching the pork at the front here. Right, it has been boiling for the past about 4 or 5 minutes. Look at how much scums it has produced on top of it. So now I can actually off the fire and carefully take out the pork hock, and we shall go and wash it under running water. Right, so the pork hock has been nicely washed. Get rid of all the scums. Put it inside the inner pot of the pressure cooker here, and we will pour. Right, so you pour the broth over. Make sure the pork hock is nicely submerged under the broth. Then we can move it onto the pressure cooker. All right, here's my pressure cooker. You can use any pressure cooker you have. Close the lid, lock it, make sure the pressure is sealed. And I'm going to use high pressure to pressurize cook for 1 hour. Yeah, normal, if you have cut the pork leg into chunks, then you only need 30 minutes pressure cook. But if you're in the whole piece of the pork hock, then you will need at least 1 hour, which is equivalent to normal pot cooking about 3 to 4 hours. So what you need to do now is just wait patiently and it is done. Of course, before serving, we can actually use some salt and sugar to adjust to taste. Okay, now this is after about approximately 1.5 hours. The pressure has been released. Wow. Wow. Smells really good. I hope you can smell this. It's super tender right now. See? Oh, it's too heavy to for this ladder to put it up, but it's okay. Now I'm just going to get some broth because I need to use this broth to cook my tofu and also egg. Yeah. Right. So from the broth I took out just now, I actually added some egg, some hard-boiled egg, and also firm tofu, and braise it. I'm going to braise it for approximately about 15 to 20 minutes. Not so much because I want to make it cook. These two is already cooked. I just want the flavor to really go in, and also at the same time, I want to reduce the broth by itself so that the broth can somehow thicken up a little bit more. If necessary, I will even put in some starch towards the end to further thicken up the sauce. So I have boiled some hot water, boiling water here. Added some salt and also oil. I'm going to blanch some broccoli. This is to go with my pork leg, yeah? Garnish the pork leg. It'll be very fast. Just cook it for approximately about 1 minute or less than that. Good enough. Then you can take it out. Alright, so here's my pork hock, yeah, braised pork hock. I have cooked some broth separately just now and added some cornstarch to it to thicken up, and we shall pour the sauce all over. Alright. Look at how beautiful it is. Right. That's how simple it is to make this particular dish. Right. If you like my video, do share my video on your Facebook to your friends. Come to Cooking Appa Facebook fan page to click like and follow button. Follow Appa on Instagram and subscribe to Cooking Appa YouTube channel. Now, if you want to know how tender it is, let me show you. Can you see how it's jiggly? Super, super tender. Melt in your mouth tender. All right. So, thank you very much. Enjoy your dinner with your family. Bye-bye.